Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Believers Club. My name is Serena.
I'm hard.
Welcome back, guys. If you guys have not seen any of our previous episodes or know what we're about, this platform was created by both of us. We're friends for a long time, and we lacked a lot of support system when we jumped on our entrepreneurial journey. And we needed a place where we could go, which was to each other. And then we felt like, you know what, why don't we actually share our experiences and what we've learned so far with the world, and hopefully somebody takes some gems away from that. So that's the whole reasoning behind the Believers Club. So hopefully you guys can check out our previous episodes to get a feel of what we talk about on this platform. But besides that, make sure you guys check us out every Wednesday. We post a new episode weekly. And besides that, let's get into today's episode.
Yes. Woo! I'm so happy. So we're on episode 15. I can't believe we've done 15 episodes so far.
It's crazy.
But I'm so excited for today's topic because, there's something to be said for being a driven person. But sometimes I think when we look at somebody that is successful, that is really driven, we forget that they also have fears that they've overcome as well, right? But today we want to focus on talking a little bit about one, what keeps us motivated, and what are some of the things that we still struggle with in terms of fear. So we'll just have an open, candid convo about that. And if you guys have any experiences or want to add to the conversation, drop in the comments. We'd be happy to hear from you.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm actually curious. This is a really, really awesome topic. So Serena, I'll start with you because I want to ask you this question. You are someone who, if you've watched our other episodes, guys, you'll know a little bit about Serena's background. If you have not, go back and watch. But Serena talked about how, she grew up and her parents wanted her to study accounting, right? She went to school. She did what she thought she was supposed to do. And then she just wasn't fulfilled, and she was always naturally talented at beauty, and it was one of those skills that she did not realize until she discovered that what she was doing was not in line with what she wanted for her life. And now going into beauty full time and working for herself, she is somebody that is extremely talented. And so I'm curious, with all the things that are going on in your life, because that is just like the surface, right? We all have, challenges with relationships, friendships, personal growth. And I honestly believe that entrepreneurship is one of those things that tests your personal growth and tests your psyche the most. So I'm curious, what keeps you motivated? Is it Boss, Cece, or Diamond?
It's Cece. Sorry, guys. My dog's here and she's whining for no reason. Get out of here. Go. Mama's busy right now. Go. Let's go.
So what keeps you motivated? What keeps you driven?
You know what?
Why do you keep going?
It really goes back to, we mentioned, watch our previous episodes, because we have talked about a lot of things that led us to this point. But for me, it was me hitting my version of a rock bottom, which was when I wasn't sure what the hell, I got my diploma. My parents wanted me to have education. They didn't care what it was. They wanted me to get education, have a degree or whatever, which wasn't aligned with my vision for myself. And it took a long time to get to that point because being South Asian, people's opinion was given a higher level of respect than my own opinion about myself and what I wanted to do. So it took a long time, but it all came down to just my natural passion and my love for things beauty related was. And that, I don't even know how I said that, but my passion just shined when it came to hair, beauty, anything that was creative or artistic. That's when I lit up, like inside, not just the outside, but my body actually aligned with those things. So me staying driven for the things that, like, that was it. Me just being passionate about what I wanted to, like, I always saw myself doing beauty or being in the beauty world. So that was enough drive for me to keep at it.
Mhm.
Yes, there's challenges because, like I said, the people's opinion is always hovering over,
Mhm.
and it takes a lot to just fight through that and focus on the passion and getting better as a human and getting better at my art and my creation. So that was kind of it. I don't even know if I answered my question because she threw me off completely, but
Oh no, I think that's basically it. It's like it's you're driven because that's who you are on the inside.
yeah,
What you're
yeah, it comes
pursuing
natural.
in your career, that is like, and I don't think that we can deny who we really are. As
We
much as
can
we
never
might
do that.
try, we might put on these masks, we might try
Yeah,
things that people want us to do, but
yeah.
no matter what, like it might piss you off sometimes because you're like, oh man, this is so hard. But at the same time, you know nothing else because that is what your soul is speaking to. That
And
is
also, when you get to that point, when you have that inside voice literally giving you no other option but to fight through
yeah,
whatever you're struggling with, that's when you know that's what you're meant to do, or at least for that time, you're gonna have to give it your all because even your inside isn't telling you any different.
yeah,
And
exactly.
even the doubt is making you push towards your goals or your dreams or whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Create a makeup look, do makeup look on someone's face. um, and again, it also comes down to practice. I think everything comes down to practice. We're so scared of attempting things because if we haven't done them before,
Mhm.
until we do it we realize that, oh, that wasn't bad of a walk through whatever it is.
Yeah,
So
the
yeah,
forest wasn't so bad. That's interesting because I feel the same way, but a little bit differently. Like when I think about being driven, I feel like for me it wasn't like I found my thing and then I was like that was it. I had to play around with so much to
yeah,
figure out what my thing was. When I was in high school, I always knew that my thing was something in the counseling psychology world. I knew from like grade 11, I was like, I want to be a counselor. I want to be a
yeah.
psychologist. That was, I signed up when I went to post secondary.
Help
I'm like,
people.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I had that specific title of like counselor, psychologist. That was my, I just knew there was nothing else. That was it.
yeah,
And we know that when we start off in the world that, you know, sometimes our life goes this way and that way, right? And I remember struggling in school. So I thought, okay, well, obviously I'm not smart enough to do this. And it diminished my dreams. And
yeah.
I remember, but still, I remember thinking to myself that I'm gonna find something that's for me. But I ended up, instead of taking the time to just sit back and be like, okay, what is it that I want and how do I get there? I felt this pressure, not from my family, but from society to get back into school as like I left my psychology program at the age of 20. And I
How long
thought,
were you in it? How
I was
long were
in it
you
for like a year and a half
at
or
that
something
point?
like
Oh,
that. I
shit.
was like
Okay.
19 or 20 and I
Yeah,
left. I was like, this isn't working out for me. And I remember feeling like I wasn't allowed to take the time to figure
yeah,
it out. I had to get back into the next school program. I wrote psychology off and I was like, oh, okay, marketing. Let's do marketing. That's my plan B. And what I should have done when I look in hindsight is stopped, maybe traveled, maybe found, you know, my heart, my passion, maybe gone into self-development if I had access or knew about it. But I just went right back into the next program. And I
yeah,
spent years in marketing. And although I was good at it, I didn't love it. And so I
yeah.
spent all these years, honestly, when I look back, I felt like I spent a lot of years being somebody that I wasn't. And
Yeah, I could
when
agree with that myself.
I fully left the entire industry of marketing altogether, and I still knew there was something more that I had to do, but I didn't know how to get there. So I just played it safe. I worked at one job for how many years? Like 4 years, and I just accepted mediocrity. But deep down inside, there was still something that was like eating away at me, like, hey, there's more, there's more, there's
The
more.
fulfillment wasn't there.
The fulfillment was not there in
Yeah,
terms of I knew intellectually there was so much more that I could do,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I had so many insecurities. But it didn't stop me. It didn't stop me completely. It paused me, but it didn't stop me. Because
Yeah.
even when I was working a full-time job, I was still looking for a way out. I was trying to find these little things. So I was looking at these businesses that were coming to me as opportunities. I tried Arbonne. I tried going into doTERRA, these network marketing companies, right? And all I was looking for was a way out. And I remember
Yeah.
delving into all these different things at once, went back into school, started coaching. So my point is that my route wasn't so straight, but what I knew from the inside was that even though I was discovering new things, I had to keep going. I had to keep going. I had to keep going until I've finally stumbled upon the thing that's me, the happy combo. And I just think that when you're determined or when you're motivated, for me, I stay motivated because I know that there's always something more.
Mm.
I know that whoever is offering me whatever, I know that I can like do way more than that. So
Yeah.
I think for me, the motivation is staying hungry all the time. And I had this moment, I don't know, maybe you can relate to this too. And I know people watching this, you might relate, is I had this moment where I sat back on my couch one day and I just had this like inner feeling of there's a huge giant on the inside that is desperately waiting to just like bust out and
Hmm.
fucking conquer the world.
Yeah.
And I sat there in the middle of the night just on my couch dreaming about what it is that I want. And I just had this undeniable glow from the inside. And I remember that feeling so succinctly that it stays with me today. And
Yeah.
I'm meant to be someone huge in this world. I'm meant to do so much. And I felt like I was wasting it away. And that's when I knew it was time to move.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. For me, same thing. I think being young, like teens, it was for me, I was just always trying to please the people outside of me.
Yeah.
And I never looked at myself long enough to worry about how to please myself.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I I was gonna go into criminology program, which was I was in. I did psychology, sociology, linguistics, different things, because I'm like,
Wow.
school is what I'm meant to do, so I'm gonna try a bunch of
Yeah.
things, which was great because I even took an entrepreneurship class as well. So that was my way of doing it my way, because my parents wanted me to go to school, so that was my way of trying things.
Mhm.
None of that shit worked because I didn't. That's not where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I That was like 2 years, 2.5 years,
Yeah.
and so that happened. Then I did hair school for. I did like apprenticeship. Completed that. I didn't get my license because I didn't pass my exam, but I learned a lot just from the actual course itself. And I was working at a salon, but I still didn't follow through with the hair fully because it wasn't like I love hair, but it's like, it wasn't my strong suit. Again, going back to, I didn't practice it enough
Yeah.
to feel good about going after it fully. And then I think I got into a criminology program because again, my parents were still like, okay, well, what are you doing with school? Because hair school is not school for them.
Yeah.
And then I got to criminology program, dropped out of that. Then I went to accounting, finished the diploma. It was a 2-year program. Did it in 3 years because I was working at the same time. Finished that like barely, like struggled to get that done just for my parents.
Yeah.
Got that done, got them off my back. And at that point, I think just actually I had moved out while I was finishing my program. And I think moving out really saved me in a sense that I really got to sit with my own thoughts and sit with myself and reflect on what I had done up until that point. I was 25 when I moved out. I think I mentioned that last time. And so it gave me a lot of time to reflect, and that's where I hit my personal rock bottom, which was I didn't know where the fuck I was going in life.
Yeah.
But I agree with what Hart said. I knew my life was meant to be so much bigger than myself.
Yeah.
So much bigger, but I kept wasting it on other people. Like, I just kept giving my time to everybody else but myself, until I got to the point where I was miserable at a job. I think I mentioned this so many times, and that was my rock bottom. And that's when a lot of people say, you hit rock bottom. Sometimes that's when you start to discover yourself the most.
Yeah.
And I think hard, maybe we'll talk about it. She went through a hard, like we talked about it before she got into coaching. That was her rock bottom. She, you know what I mean? She got hit in the face and she had to fucking really rotate her life and figure out what the fuck she wanted to do. Same thing for me. It was like, what am I doing with my life? How am I going to live? How am I going to achieve all the dreams, all these plans that I put on myself internally, but I have never worked on them. And I'm so thankful that I chose to never give up on myself. And that may be just, I'm not sure where that came from, because we always mention being Indian, like our parents gave up on a lot of their dreams. So maybe it's the drive that they didn't have that we feel like we had to take on for ourselves. That might be like, I don't know where that comes from, because we're not naturally taught or pushed to be driven and fully blindly just going after things no matter what and achieve them, because our environment never achieved a lot of their things themselves.
Yeah.
But like I heard said, we knew that we wanted to, our dreams and our thing, there was a bigger purpose to our life.
Yeah.
And I could just not give up on that. And I don't know what that was, but I never gave up. And
you have to keep that fire burning. And just because something doesn't work out, that doesn't mean that you have to stop discovering more. Because I think that's where people mess up. They
stop themselves.
Stop because they try the one or two things, and then maybe they break free from what their parents wanted them to do, and they try, the art thing, or they try the whatever other thing it is that their parents want them to do, but then they fail at that thing, and then they come and bounce back into the safety net, and you have to hear the whole, like, we told you that was never going to work, but glad that you tried it, had fun, but now you're back to reality. And I think that is where we have to like interject people and say, when you've gone off and ventured into that other thing that society or your family does not want you to do and it doesn't work, don't come back. Keep going further, and then go further, and then go further.
Use failure as a step to the next thing, not to step back. Use the failure to stop that and go to the next one. And
not as a tool to prove people right. Or people wrong. You do it because it is your heart and your soul. Because let's say you go, okay, so I don't know, let's say you go into art class and you study, you're an art major, and that does not work out for you, right? And everyone's making fun of you because who the heck is going and doing an art degree? Don't come back and do like a real estate license. Don't come back and do like a marketing major or a business major. Continue. Maybe you do a business major, but you learn how to open up your own art school. Maybe you learn how to do something with your passion and just continue on. And it doesn't even have to be education. Your art degree didn't work. Okay, cool. Like, start doing guerrilla marketing. Start putting your art in places. Start doing all these things. And I think that people are so afraid of failure the first time. They get burned so bad that they're like, I'm just going to never touch that again. But you have to almost get your scar to turn into a battle wound. Don't allow it to be a scar. Allow it to be a battle wound. Right? So let's talk about that for a few minutes. Like, what is it that you think that keeps people, or even us? I know we stay motivated and we stay driven, but there's still things that we fear. There's still things that people struggle with. Why do you think that happens?
I think it starts with the way we were raised. For me personally, it's I think environment is huge. We talk about that all the time. The people you surround yourself with, the people you live with, people you grow up with, they do really determine who you will be as a person to a certain extent. And that's where you have to personally interject and decide for yourself what it's going to be for you, and not what people have put on you. And I have always been a fighter against people's opinions. I have always gone, I've never appreciated people's opinion on someone else's life. Not opinion, sorry, but more of a judgment or someone else telling me how to live my life.
Right.
I've heard it my whole life. I've heard it, and it has gotten to me, and it probably did actually let me not continue on a path that I may have been going on because I let somebody else's opinion stop me from doing it.
Right.
But I'm at a point now, this obviously, I would say it took 10 years to mentally get to a point where I'm the final decision maker of whatever I'm trying to decide. Like even nowadays, we'll talk about other things, but like say social media, if something gets to me, I have to get into my mind right away to do the opposite of whatever I'm feeling. If I'm feeling like, oh, someone's doing better than me or whatever it is, because we, at the end of the day, we're humans, we compare. We have natural, shitty instincts sometimes that don't actually help. Comparing is fine, but not until you let it actually pour down on you in a negative way. So I have gotten to a point where as soon as that negative voice comes in, we've talked about this last episode, you have to check that negative voice right away and tell it something positive. Tell yourself that you are capable of pushing through whatever it is. I failed at so many fucking things. Everything I just told you about the last 10 years prior to doing makeup, I failed at most of those things. But for whatever reason, it kept me going still. Maybe at a slower pace, but it still, in the back of my head, I knew that there was a bigger purpose. So I could not give up on that. So my number one advice would be never, ever, ever be the person who gives up on yourself. There's people outside of you that have already given up on you or that will give up on you.
Yeah.
But you right here, don't forget about this person. You have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be your biggest supporter. You have to be your biggest push. You have to be your biggest critic. But you have to be there for yourself, and you have to be nice to yourself. You have to listen to yourself, the good and the bad. And if there's good, take it. If there's bad, change it to good or learn from whatever is bad. But that would be my biggest advice, not to give up on yourself, because I gave up on myself many times in many different ways. But I'm at a point now that even when that thought might cross my, like, shit, I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if, no, try it. Try that shit. If it doesn't work, great, you tried it. And
Point blank, period.
yes. And also in that, learning to check your ego. That's ego for me, I feel like is the biggest killer personally and other people. That ego will let you fail and stop right there, because that's how we protect ourselves. That's how our brain protects us from fearful things or whatever we're afraid to do, because that's the way our body protects us from things when we fail. But I feel like right through that failure is when you're going to learn the most. When you fail, you learn so much about yourself, your strengths, what you're good at, what you're shitty at. You learn all those things and learn to take it away and actually like learn from all those. Whatever you pick, I keep saying learn, but whatever you learn from your mistakes, teach yourself from actually and learn from it to grow as a person, better as a person, and just grow from it. And never give up on yourself. That's my main advice. Never give up on yourself. And that's the only reason I'm sitting here today, because I never give up on myself.
Never give up on herself. 100. Yes, that's actually very true. The reason why, if you are unhappy right now, like truly unhappy with your job, with your career, with your income, all that stuff, it's probably because you've already given up on yourself. And
just riding the wave.
And not gonna lie, that even sometimes when you achieve that, like in the position that Serena's in, or me in the position that I'm in, you still have those moments sometimes where it feels like it's not working.
Yeah.
But you gotta keep going, because the more that you keep going, the better it actually feels, and the more resilience you build. And you kind of show fear that it's not that powerful.
And it's not. Fear is nothing. without you and your
You
decisions.
can actually stare fear right in the face. And I'll give you a quick story. When I was going in to write this exam, this really big exam in my mind, okay? And I had traveled 14 hours to go write this exam because it was a ticket for me to start building a life that I really, really wanted. So I was determined. I went and I wrote this exam for the third time, okay? And I remember just being paralyzed with fear because if you know anything about me, I'm a verbally intelligent person. I'm an emotionally intelligent person, intellectually as well. But when it's a piece of paper in front of me that's timing me on my education, I get very anxious and I get exam anxiety. So I'm sitting here and I'm nervous as hell. But then I had to think to myself, I'm sitting in front of a piece of paper. I'm afraid this piece of paper has been eating me alive for the past 2 months because I've been so afraid of it. And I literally just sat there at the desk before I took the exam for a couple minutes and I just stared at it. And I was like, this is what I'm scared of? This piece of fucking paper?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
pencil? And I just stared at it. And the more that I looked at it, the more I realized that I was powerful, that I had the knowledge. And this was just a piece of paper for me to spill everything that I knew out onto. It wasn't my enemy. Okay. It was
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
And I just stared at it. And I probably looked silly as hell in that exam room because everybody was like going crazy. And I was just staring at the damn paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I passed that exam.
Yeah.
Because when you are in your fear, like so deep in it, you are anxious, you're paranoid, you're scared, and you're not showing up in your best way.
And you're paralyzed too. Like fear will fucking paralyze you.
And so what I'm saying is when you feel that fear, you're feeling it because it's something that you're meant to do. If you're scared of it, do it. And if you fail, don't be scared of failure. Be afraid of not trying.
Yes.
Afraid,
Yes.
be afraid of the biggest thing. Honestly, whenever people look back, they never regret failing. They always regret.
Yep.
And
Yep.
oftentimes people have regret off of something that they never tried, that they never gave a shot.
And they wanted to, but they just
They
didn't.
wanted to. So don't ever fear failure, fear regret.
Yeah. Yeah.
Regret is way bigger than anything that you failed. Honestly, I don't remember a lot of the things that I failed at.
Yeah. Same.
I don't.
Even like I mentioned all the schools and stuff, none of that's failure to me. That
Like you
literally
don't wake up and like feel like ugh because you didn't
no.
go through accounting. But if there's
No.
something that you ever wanted to do that you didn't, I bet that sticks with us.
Yes, it definitely does.
It
Yeah.
does, right? If it's you didn't take a chance on somebody, you didn't walk up to that person that you saw, whatever it is.
I can actually give my makeup journey for a long time. I wanted to try it, but I just kept justifying why I shouldn't.
Yeah.
There was too many people. I don't have the talent. I'm not, it's not going to work for me. Justified why I'm not trying it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen if I don't try something? Nothing's going to move. My life isn't going to change. My life is going to stay where it is because I'm not going against or doing what I'm actually internally want to try, but I'm just too scared. But until I tried it, you wouldn't know. That's another thing. It's like you don't know until you try. And also, you get so much better the more you try something.
Mm-hmm.
So your confidence it goes from level 1 to level 50 because you're just better. You're getting better as you do more of whatever you wanted to try.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, I love that.
Fail forward.
Yes.
Build resilience. Stay committed. Be afraid of fear. Don't be afraid of. No, be afraid of regret. Don't be afraid of fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Packaged and delivered.
Yeah, and make sure that you are not judging yourself. You have to be there for yourself. Be your biggest supporter and be your biggest critic.
Mm-hmm. Yes, with love, care, compassion, and support. Yeah. We want to support you guys, so reach out to us. let us know how we can help you on this journey that you are a part of. And we're like your internet sisters. Okay, so
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
at us. But until next week, guys, stay tuned for part 2 of this conversation, because we're gonna chop it up and we're gonna continue this dialogue and switch it up a little bit. But that will be coming at you next week. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for part 2. Until then, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. These videos come out every Wednesday. And if you know somebody that could use this information, forward this over to them.
Yes, definitely share with whoever you think can benefit or isn't is wanting to try so many things, but they haven't because they're too scared and they just need that extra push. So we can
Awesome.
all use that.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. See you
Bye.
next week.